Building a competitive deck can be a tiresome process, some spending hours or even days concocting a mixture of combos that is sure to counter whatever may come their way. Regardless of the approach of building a tournament-winning deck, the process is thorough and deliberate. The list of creators, bladers that even I follow on the various platforms where Beyblade thrives was massive. Creators such as Baybreaker from TikTok, AJ's Supercharged, Elliot Sampson, Nick Flicks, Jay's Bays, Gojo, MF Juice, so many more, and of course the legendary Ilinnuc.
The battle for first place was on, featuring Taze from the DFW Texas community and Baybreaker from Oklahoma. The battles were intense. Taze took an early lead with a pretty unique deck, but Breaker pulled it back with Shark and Arrow Pegasus, and also nailed the most perfect slide drop launch I saw at the entire convention. The score was 5-6, still anyone's game, so the Bladers prepared. Taze with Night Mail, and Breaker with Rod only needing one more point to win the tournament. Both launched with their full power and technique behind them, the Bays flying into the arena. But, as the prophecy foretold, I always felt nervous mid-battle because Hexa can really rip on the extreme line. Rod took an unfortunate extreme line ride and Mail struck it right in the ratchet, resulting in a burst finish. Taze wins.
I recently competed in the BayCon 2025 national tournaments on day 2 and day 3. On day 2, I got top 16, and then on day 3, I got 2nd place. The first tournament on day 2 had about 112-ish players, I want to say. I could be wrong. And then day 3 had about 40-ish players, something in that ballpark. Not only that, but I did get 2nd place in the Creators Tournament on, I want to say, day 2 as well. And I would say those are some pretty consistent results. While I do wish that I had gotten first place at least once, I'm still pretty content with how well I did. And it's pretty consistent with the way I placed whenever it comes to my local tournaments as well. I've won first place 6 or 7 times, second and third several times. Most of the time I'm always in the top 8 at the very least. Very rarely do I ever not make it that high. And I'm not saying all this to brag. What I want to talk about today is the fact that I don't think there's any such thing as RNG when it comes to Beyblade X. I know that can be a pretty controversial topic, but honestly, it's holding you back from doing better in tournaments. At the end of the day, the results of how well you do are based on all the decisions that you made up to the point of the results of your match. There was nothing RNG about the combos that you picked and making sure that you use the best parts possible at your disposal. There was nothing random about the order of the bays that you put your deck in whenever you started that game, or anything random about the way you reshuffled, or at least I would hope so. There's nothing random about having a side preference, being able to launch consistently, practicing daily. It takes real skill to be able to read your opponent's launch and understand how to counter that in a matter of just seconds. And whether or not you're using a string or a winder and how well you are good at using those. Honestly, every detail matters, even the stadium height. So for example, I'm used to playing at about maybe a little above my knee whenever it comes to launching. And then at BayCon, they had the limited stadiums. I've never played on those before. And those are about right at my knee or maybe even lower. It was very, very low. And it was a challenging adjustment for me to have to make on the fly. And had I been a little more prepared and practiced at that height, I probably could have done even better. For those of you guys who follow me on TikTok, you already know that I practice every single day and I post every single day. In fact, that's how I started making content. I literally just wanted to hold myself accountable by posting every day, which forced me to have to practice. There are challenges that I've done where I have to burst or overfinish a silver wolf or extreme rod every single day, or first to 5 points against a bay, things like that. I don't blame specifically Wizard Rod for the fact that I didn't win first place. I blame myself for choosing to use it in that moment whenever I should have known that I am much better at launching an attack type, and I probably would have gotten the W had I used something like Shark Scale or Arrow Pegasus, which you can see from the match were earning me all the points in that game. Although Wizard Rod 160 Hexa was doing pretty well for me that day and I was trying to be strategic, I only needed one more point to win, so in my head it made the most sense in the moment. That being said, either way, the decision for me to do that is what made the results happen. So the sooner you start thinking that way, the sooner you will start doing better whenever it comes to your tournaments. Personally, I plan to just start using all straight up attack types like I have here in my deck box. I've got Phoenix Wing, Arrow Pegasus, and Shark Scale. I'm just better at launching attack types. And I feel like if I just ran all attack, I probably would have done even better. And because I didn't, again, I blame myself, not the combos or the blades or anything related to being random or RNG. I analyzed and reviewed the way that I approached the tournament, and I wanted to figure out where did I make a mistake, where were the errors made, where could I have prepared a little bit better, should I have done some more research. There's so many things that play into whether or not you do well, and I'd really like to help end the stigma of, oh, there's just RNG, or it's just too random, or as soon as you launch the bay, everything after that is just random. No, it's not. If you chose to use Wizard Rod and you went up against an attack type bay against a player who's good at launching it, and you aren't very good at using Wizard Rod defensively, and then you lose, it's a no-brainer that you lost. Like, of course you lost. And I'm talking about myself, by the way. There was nothing random about that. And there was nothing random about Taze winning his game either, because he made all the right decisions and launched really well and tried to counter my launches and did pretty good at that at the beginning of the game, which is why I had to climb up in points. Those are all just examples of how RNG just honestly does not exist when it comes to Beyblade X. The point I'm trying to make is that you need to stop thinking about that entirely. Every time you lose a game, the immediate thought needs to be, what should I have done differently? What could I have done better? How could I have practiced or researched or prepared better? You need to think about those things, and I promise you will start doing better. Thank you for watching, guys, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. One last thing, I am sponsored by Mall of Toys and Noozle 3D. Use the code BAYBREAKER at checkout and you'll get 5 to 10% off. I honestly can't remember. Hope to see you guys in the next one.